I heard Bonnie Tyler passed away. Let's start out with one of her songs. Rest in peace, Bonnie Tyler. Bonnie, she was, I think, like 72 years old, I want to say. Something like that. I don't know how you are, the piratess, but if you're younger than me, I will take it. Right? Yeah, let your mom know. Bonnie. Bonnie sang Total Eclipse of the Heart. You guys remember that? Total Eclipse of the Heart. Have you ever seen The Rain too? That was a really good one. A really, really good one. Okay, so we are going to talk about the Sider family. 16 children found in a home, 4 adults charged. But first, there is an update on Javeayah Harris, the 4-year-old child who had been missing approximately, they believe, a month before her mother decided to call law enforcement and say that her daughter was missing. Hey, rapper, I seen ya. I seen you, rapper. I don't know if you're the rapper, but I would have to check your channel, sir. Okay. Well, that's a good thing, September Angel, that you know a little bit about the Sider situation. But first, let's do this update on Javeayah Harris. Let me set this up, my friends. This is horrible. This is horrible. Well, I appreciate that, rapper. And it's nice that you come in and say, hey. Always appreciate you saying hey, for sure. I am going to overlay this because every time I show, even though the link is in the chat for this news station, they get me every time with it. So I do have an overlay up. Here we go. This is so sad, you guys. I'm going to say trigger warning, okay? Big time trigger warning.
Good morning. I'm Marty Sawyer, and I'm the sheriff in Aiken County. Thank you for being here today, especially the citizens of Aiken that's come in. Thank you for being here. And I'm here to provide an update on the investigation that we've been investigating the death of 4-year-old Javeayah Harris. These updates never get easier to share. This past week has been heart-wrenching for everyone, but we've seen an outpouring of support in Aiken County and a massive joint law enforcement effort to search for and now to seek justice for Javeayah Harris. Personally, there's some very harsh words that I would like to use about Jamaria and Michaela and their actions.
Hold on, I don't know why I went muted, but this is a picture of Javeayah. This is off of Facebook. 4 years old. 4 years old. Her parents have been arrested in connection with her passing. It's a it's a blessing that they have believed to have found her. Hold on, my audio's not sharing again. I don't know what's going on with my stuff. 1 minute it's fine, and the next minute it's not. For sure.
But I will not do that. And I will not do that to protect and maintain the integrity of this case.
I commend him for coming out and saying he will not refer to these two individuals as that little girl's parents. He's not going to call them mom and dad.
But I will tell you this. I will not refer to them as mom and dad or mother or father. They don't deserve that title.
Amen.
I stand before you saying this is one of the most difficult, deeply disturbing, and emotionally taxing investigations this office has ever worked, and it's weighed heavily on this sheriff's office, all these other law enforcement agencies, all these people behind me that's worked tirelessly to bring this to an end.
And I commend those people. Hey, Deb, I commend any law enforcement agency that their main job is to find missing children, find exploited children. I don't know how they do it. Hey, Mr. A. I don't know how they do it.
And it's weighed heavily on our community. I am truly sickened to share what this investigation has uncovered.
All right, trigger warning.
From the moment Javeayah was reported missing, the sheriff's office, as well as our law enforcement partners and first responders, we responded with urgency, determination, and compassion. What started as an exhaustive and complex search quickly grew to something that I would have never imagined.
It was sickening to me, and I haven't played the 911 call from the mother. It is out there. You guys can Google it and find it, right? For anyone to be able to have such a dramatic call to 911 stating that their daughter possibly walked into the woods and was missing, knowing the whole time that you unalived that child. It's just really sickening. We got a man unalived his wife and two daughters at the weekend, 15, and then flew to Zimbabwe. Wow.
Now understand, I cannot discuss all the details.
That's what I hear at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I've had a really hard time sleeping. I am not really a stay up all night type of person. But yeah, over the last couple of weeks, it's just been really hard to get a steady even 6 hours. Ooh, Morocco versus France. All right, Mr. A. I may watch that too. I watched Conor McGregor. I watched Conor McGregor's last fight. Really good fight. It was.
We should have stopped the train.
He didn't have a visa, May. Like I said, I'm kind of procrastinating on this. trigger warning, you guys. What is said here that these individuals did to this little girl is very triggering. If you get easily triggered, please come back another time.
If it doesn't...
Hold on, they got a commercial. Nothing wrong with having a commercial. Not at all. Damn, that train is loud.
Understand that I cannot discuss all the specific details in this case. Few human remains were recovered.
Well, September Angel, I'm talking about it right now. So feel free to go look into it if you want. For sure. Google it. 4-year-old little girl. Mom calls 911. My daughter's missing. She was out playing by the chicken coop. She used to follow us out into the woods behind the house. There's a trail back there. We used to take the dogs out there to play. Well, needless to say, her parents were some messed up individuals, and I believe that they didn't like each other that much. And this little 4-year-old girl paid the price for that. Paid the price for that, in my opinion, anyway.
In an area known as Cedar Creek Reservoir, also known as Stumpy Pond in Fairfield County. These remains were immediately sent to the State Law Enforcement Division, and through analysis, the DNA of the remains are consistent with being the biological offspring of Jamariyah and Michaela.
Now, they say that the mother did it. They say that the abuse was from the mother. And if I remember correctly, hey, flies, if I remember correctly, they tried to say that oh, I forget what I was going to say.
I want to also share with you that through forensic evidence, statements, and analysis, extensive and deliberate efforts were made to destroy and conceal evidence following Javeayah's death.
South Carolina.
Our information reveals the use of corrosive chemicals.
The use of corrosive chemicals. The use of corrosive chemicals. Let that sink in for a moment.
And other tools that were used to accelerate the destruction of her little body.
You know, September Angel, honestly, please do look into it. Research it. I recommend that for everyone. If you come across a case that you're interested in, research it.
After this was completed, these two individuals poured what remains were left of Javeayah into the Cedar Creek Reservoir.
Wow. Wow. You know, what's sad to me is the fact that children they don't do things to make grown adults abuse them or unalive them or do horrific things to them. So they knowingly went and purchased materials to annihilate this little girl's remains. You know, I started watching, and I had watched it before, but Casey Anthony's name's been coming up quite a bit. I guess that she's on another I Need Attention tour, right? She needs attention. I heard that she's, you know, trying to strike individuals who are speaking about her, you know, in a negative light and things like that. So I started rewatching the first interview publicly that she came out and did after she was found not guilty of unaliving her daughter Kaylee. And to watch her, the lies just, you know, coming out of her mouth so freaking easily, and the tears, crying the tears. It's disturbing. It is very disturbing.
These subjects went through great lengths to cover their repulsive and revolting actions.
Now, question. If mom would not have called 911, how long would it have taken for anyone to notice Javeayah missing? Right? We look in, we see like the Melody Buzzard stuff, right? Melody Buzzard's mother actually was telling family that she had given Melody up for adoption. Yeah, me either, Flies. I don't think anybody would have noticed for a long, long time. I hope you're feeling better too, Flies. A long time these children are missing, and it's just sad.
In my 37-year career in law enforcement, I have never, ever heard of anything so horrific. As a result of this information, it's unlikely that the entirety of Javeayah's body or any other remains from this point forward will be recovered.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. How sad. How sad is that? They gonna get a plea deal? I'm just asking. Oh, hold on, commercial. They didn't even want to let anyone know where this baby was at.
And I'll say this again, we had all hoped and prayed to find her body, but with the information we've uncovered, that's simply not possible. I want to also announce additional charges for destruction and desecration of human remains have been filed against these two individuals.
Amen.
I know this is heartbreaking for anyone who's followed this case. It's heartbreaking for our office.
You know, I talked about this with the Summer Wells case too, and you know, search teams, they were being demeaned. Individuals wanted to put out in the universe that these people were negligent, that they didn't know what they were doing, that law enforcement, you know, was working against trying to find Summer. And, you know, I guess that's where I talk about, you know, being an emotional person, because I looked at those individuals and my heart went out to them. These are people who are out there looking for these missing babies. They looked in the most horrible conditions. Every step they took, they wanted to find a missing child. After being out in horrific elements all day and into the night, some went home to their families. Some that had daughters, granddaughters, children, period. And to go home knowing that the day didn't end in a successful way had to have been just mentally challenging for all of them, right? My heart goes out to them. Look, for those looking, they never know what they're going to find. The elements and mental state has to be rough. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's sad. It's very sad. That's like, I'll never forget EquiSearch. There were people that were very quickly challenging EquiSearch, trying to demean EquiSearch's character, especially Twyla. I will never forget that. Yes, Twyla was on Jerry Springer years back or whatever. So because of that, they wanted to make her look like that, look some type of way. And it was very disheartening. Very disheartening.
For all the law enforcement across the state that's worked on this case, countless hours, to find every piece of evidence with the hope of bringing Javeayah home. It's heartbreaking to our community. Our commitment has been to pursue the truth, regardless of how difficult it may be. While no announcement can lessen the profound loss in this case, our commitment remains unchanged. Today is not only about the evidence recovered, it's about a child whose life was taken far too soon. While today marks a painful chapter in this case, it does not end our work. Our investigators will continue to pursue every lead, examine every piece of evidence, and work closely with the Second Circuit Solicitor's Office to ensure that justice for Javeayah is pursued.
That's right. Justice for Javeayah. They done the same in Sebastian's case, but in Sebastian's, it was his father demeaning EquiSearch. Absolutely, Flies. You're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that. Hey, let me tell you something about me. There's no way that I'm going to sit behind a freaking keyboard and demean anybody's character that is out there doing something that if I had the capability to do it myself, I would do it. I would do it. For sure. And that was like the what is it, Cajun Navy that was out helping to do some searches for Sebastian, and they were being threatened. They were being threatened. I don't understand why people will I don't understand why people believe that they need to outdo each other when they speak about missing and exploited children. I don't understand that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. I totally get it. But not the trying to make someone else look like that they're not worthy of covering these missing children's cases. Does that make sense? Yeah, the Cajun Navy. Yeah, they were, yeah, drugged through the mud. Yeah, absolutely. What is does anybody remember what the little girl's name is that they were searching in the landfill for? Let me find her. We had a 15-year-old. Do you guys remember? She was just a little girl. We have Carson Reese. That story was just updated 2 hours ago. That is a wild case right there. We'll talk about that later, though, for sure. Genesis Reed, thank you, Flies. Thank you. Dang, May, Mr. A is going to take you to Paris. Genesis is the one I was thinking about, for sure. I'll never forget covering Quentin Simon's case, and that is the only trial on my channel, but well, besides Shelby Shell trial, but as far as a child, Quentin Simon was the only trial that I've ever covered over here as far as playing the whole trial. And I will never forget that I literally cried when it was over. How they described being in the landfill and trying to find any little part, any little piece of Quentin to bring him to a place where he could be laid to rest, right? So sad. So sad. You think that they'll let him plea out on this one?
I ask you to pray. Pray for Javeayah and her extended family, our staff, all these other law enforcement agencies, and this community. Again, I want to thank all these law enforcement partners, local, state, federal, other first responders who assisted in this case. But from the time I announced at my last press conference that the investigation had taken us outside of Aiken County, I specifically want to thank the State Law Enforcement Division, South Carolina DNR, and Sheriff Will Montgomery in the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. These DNR divers spent hours and hours and hours searching.
It is a blessing that they even found anything at all.
Finally, I want to again thank our community.
Wow. We will get more into that also. There's a lot of paperwork that I researched it. I had a lot of it pulled up. And I started researching the Siders from Ohio also with the 16 children. That case is pretty wild. But I think it's a blessing that that Javeayah was found. It is a blessing. Especially, and I'll say trigger warning, if they use something to try to make her disappear. So we'll definitely get more into that. Possibly what they used, what chemicals they used. But yes, they have found 4-year-old Javeayah, and I truly hope that those monsters pay for what they did. Pay for what they did. So I'll pull some more of that up. We'll get a little bit more into that as you know the couple go to you know the court proceedings get started for sure. All right. We've got 4 individuals here. Now, you have Gary Siders Jr., Elizabeth Siders, his 33-year-old wife. You have his mother and his father. His father was released from custody. He was being transported, I believe, to the courthouse. He fell out, basically, and they do not believe that at this time he should be held in jail. Now, what a lot of people need to understand, this man is older. It kind of seems like he's got a lot of health issues. I kind of wonder if all 4 of these individuals don't have some sort of mental health issues. What was I going to say? They basically, if they would have kept Gary Sider Sr. in jail, then they would have had to pay for his medical treatment. They would have had to have taken care of him medically. I truly believe that they didn't want to have to do that. They did not want to have to pay for this guy's medical treatment. So he has been released, right? He has been released. Another thing, let's talk about Elizabeth. Now, we've heard her brother, he's came out on Facebook and spoke. What people need to realize is Elizabeth's mother and father signed paperwork for Gary Siders Jr. to marry Elizabeth when she was 15 years old. 2 months after they married, Elizabeth starts having babies. Now, it's been reported, I'm not sure if it's factual, but I did hear someone speaking about it's not 16 children anymore. It's like 20 freaking kids. From the time at 15 years old, she marries Gary Siders Jr., Elizabeth is having baby after baby after baby. Her body is not even healing from her body, in my opinion, didn't even have time to heal after having a child before she was pregnant again. Okay? And it's bad. So let's go. We're going to go down the line. Okay? We're going to go down the line. A gay married couple adopt a little boy 4 months later. They wouldn't let the biological because she had birth. Oh, that's sad, May May. That is sad. All right. Are you guys ready for this? These children are all allegedly fathered by Gary Siders Jr. Oh, what I was saying was I had heard someone speaking about one of the children possibly belonging to SOD, some other dude. I don't know if that's the truth or not. It doesn't sound like that this girl, I don't get it. Now, they are saying that these children, they're still trying to find some of the birth certificates, but it sounds like all these children were born in hospitals. It absolutely does. Yes, conjoined twins that didn't survive. The conjoined twins were absolutely born at the hospital, right? Okay, so we've got child 1 was born 2006 to 2007, age 13, 2008, age 15. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's back it up here. This is how old Elizabeth was when these children were born, right? What do you mean that's not true? What is not true? What do you mean they were conjoined? They both passed away. The conjoined twins passed away. It was stated that, yes, it happened at a hospital. Yeah, I don't know, May. Don't worry about it. For real. Okay, so when child one was born in 2006 or 2007, Elizabeth, they say, was around the age of 13, right? That is what I said. They both passed. They were fucking conjoined. Okay. So Elizabeth was allegedly around 13 years old when her first child was born. Her second child, she was around 15. Third child, she was around 16. Fourth child, she was around 18. Child 5, 19. Child 6, around 20. Child 7, 22. Child 8, 23. Child 9, 25. Child 10, 27. Child 11, 28. Now, this is where my mind gets fucking blown, right? This is where my mind gets blown. Because she starts having twins. So at 29, she has a set of twins. At 30, she has another set of twins, and those are the conjoined twins that passed away. Then a year later, at 31, she has another set of twins. And then at 32, she has another set of twins. Now, from what they know right now, all the children were born at different hospitals throughout the state of Ohio and West Virginia, right? I believe, May, it was because she was pregnant. I believe it was because she was pregnant, right? Now, do you believe that that's sad? So do you believe that Elizabeth Okay, so another relative did speak out. This guy's name is Ronnie Fletcher. He said he's married to a daughter of Gary Sider Sr. So they did not know. See, it's hard to tell because how can you say that you didn't know, right? Hey, Grumble. How can you say you didn't know, right? That your sister having that many children. I mean, I guess family, family doesn't talk to each other that much, obviously. It sounds like it was a small world, right? Okay, give me 1 second, you guys. Give me 1 second. Well, this is where the problem's at, because law enforcement is saying that all of these kids were kept in a 12 by 12 room. They didn't know how to read or write. They had no education. And then there's others who have put out different things showing where some of these children were on social media. Was Elizabeth going to the doctor? Was she being checked? How could they keep allowing her to have babies? Let me show you this picture. Oh, I got it up here. Like I said, the only reason that they even knew that the children were in the home is because Gary Siders Jr. decided that he was going to go outside and, show himself to individuals that was not his wife or family members. It's very heartbreaking for the kids. It is. And whether people feel this way or not, I feel horrible for Elizabeth. I feel horrible for her. I could not imagine just my whole life, as far back as you can remember, is having children, one right after the other, right? You would think, right? Maybe she was abused mentally. That's what I'm wondering, Flies. That is what I'm wondering. She does. That's what I'm saying. She looks, hey, Karen with a C. She looks horrible. Horrible. I just couldn't figure out how her body went through having that many children, and then she starts having twins. Right? That didn't make any sense. How did her little body even it's so basically when Elizabeth goes to court, she probably will still face the child endangerment charges or whatever her charges may be. But I truly think that they're going to find that this girl at a very young age, this family knew her family. Gary Siders Jr. Started messing with her when she was very young and impregnated her, and the family just signed her over and said, there you go. I agree with that statement, Flies, that they groomed her. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, his age, I can't remember exactly how old he is. She had her first kid at 15, but I just read the list and they said that really started at 13. They're being charged with 16 counts of second-degree felony child endangerment. Children couldn't speak. One was in critical condition. I wonder if she even had a driver's license. I wonder if Elizabeth even had a driver's license. Her lawyer, here, we'll pop over. Look at her. My goodness, you guys, seriously, look at this picture. Look how beautiful. Wow. Her brother did try to sound the alarm about Elizabeth and having all these children. I mean, basically it just, there's nothing that can be done to Gary Siders Jr. because Elizabeth's family signed her over to them. For sure. But I feel the same way because let me tell you, you're not going to tell me that there wasn't any grooming going on. That is just like, whether people believe it or not, go listen to Seth Rogers speak about Sebastian's mother. Listen to what he says about meeting her being young. You know, it's there. It's there. In my opinion, Seth Rogers absolutely groomed Katie. Absolutely. The brother feels like she was indoctrinated. He had not seen his sister in 15 years. Elizabeth's brother had not seen his sister in 15 years. So when he did have that reunion, he absolutely did not want to do anything to cause a problem. Sad. Very sad. Of course, you got people that worked at the dollar store that were talking about the family, different things like that. You know, everybody's got their own opinions on different things, for sure. But it seems like a lot of people are definitely trying to make Elizabeth out to be the monster here. She lived with his family. She lived with his family. They moved around a lot. A whole lot. So money was coming in from somewhere. Also, I believe that at some point they were getting some kind of assistance. I could be wrong, but I mean, it's not right that the children had to live that way. And it's sad that I don't know. I'm not saying what they did is okay at all. So don't get me wrong on that. But I just feel like Elizabeth being so young, being basically, in my opinion, given to the Siders, signed right over to the Siders, a child herself. I mean, come on, you guys. How many women have that many children? Her body never got a break. Mentally, that had to have affected her mentally big time. And I don't care what anybody says. It's still crazy to me that this woman had that many children and then in her later years starts having twins. And not just one set of twins, freaking 4 sets of twins, right? And let me tell you guys, if they lived in that area and they were going to the Dollar General and doing all that kind of stuff, and you know, there's people in the Dollar General who work there consistently. They see them over and over and over. And they're saying, oh yeah, they came in, the kids were nasty, the kids were dirty, they were just, they stank and all that other shit. Really? Really? Was CPS involved? We kind of think that they were because they moved around so much. But then you got to think about it too. Probably not too many people want to rent to individuals that have 16 freaking kids, right? What was Elizabeth's education? What was her education? When did she last attend school? It blows my mind. Blows my mind. There's just no way that her body could have recovered from having all these children. Well, of course, you know how it is. You know how it is. People want to come out and say things after the fact, right? They want to come out and, talk about, especially people who work at the dollar store. I remember, hey, Bomber Cat. Yes, I heard that, Bomber Cat. Thank you for saying that because I forgot about that. Yes, they're saying that she possibly is pregnant now. Now, I don't know why this individual that's married to one of the Sider sisters is saying that they've had threats and everything else. I mean, for real, that is stupid. That is stupid. Yes, I agree, Flies. I'm glad you said that, Bomber Cat. I forgot about that they were saying that. So, I don't know. It sounds to me like this guy is coming out and speaking about it only because he's saying that, his family's being threatened and they're being harassed, etc., etc. Like I said, I don't even know who that guy is. I did hear about the brother came out and what? Wait. So, and like I said, there are a lot of families that, they just grow apart. Siblings aren't as close anymore. They don't sit and, have conversations or get into family members' business and stuff like that, right? I don't think so, Bomber Cat, but that's just my opinion. I do not believe that any of the children are the parent of any of the other children in there. But I mean, then again, we don't know. We don't know. Now, did they put a gag order on this case now? Yeah, that's what I heard, Karen, that they all belong to him. For sure. So this guy is saying that his wife's afraid to go to work. They're being threatened. You know, that I don't know. That makes no sense to me. Why are they being I mean, but you know, you guys know how people are. Yeah, I don't know the guy either. I know a guy who Artie's wife, after she had a baby, told her he owned her because they were married. It was her biblical responsibility to lay with him. Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of individuals like that in the world. A whole lot. A whole lot. And back then, if a young girl, even as young as like 11, was caught with a guy, the parents would just let him get married. Right? And don't ever think that a young girl in some situations has not been used to benefit the family. And what I mean by that is if a 13-year-old, right, say a 20-year-old guy becomes attracted to a 13-year-old girl, he grooms that child. He might have a job. He might have a job. You know, he may be in that position, and do not think that that young girl's family is not going to say, here, take my daughter because you can help us financially. It's not considered selling your daughter, right? They wouldn't consider it that, but it's a beneficial situation for that girl's whole family. It absolutely happens. Absolutely. And it's very sad. So I guess what it comes down to is what, you know, people believe. I will never say that I know what Elizabeth is going through. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. Maybe after her parents signed her over to this Gary Siders Jr. and his family, maybe Elizabeth felt there was no hope. Maybe she felt there wasn't any hope. The more that he could keep her pregnant, the more he benefited from that. Where was she going to go? Where was she going to go with all these children and pregnant again? Where? What was she going to do? How many times, this is what I would like to know too. How many times was Elizabeth after or even before she was married to Junior, was she ever in a situation where she was by herself? By herself. When you're a young child and you feel like you don't have anyone, it puts a lot of children in horrendous situations because they feel like they have nowhere to turn. They have nowhere to turn. Now, the family, you know, people threatening her family and stuff like that, that's just ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. I mean, it is very sad. It is sad, but, you know, that is just, you know how people are. You know how people are. For sure. Sad, you guys. Very sad. But I'm sorry. This guy needs to sit down and shut up. Right? He's more concerned. Well, then again, I don't blame him. I mean, how do they even know them to threaten them, right? Anyway, he's got a problem. He's upset because a strain has been put on his family. Like I said, this guy is married to one of Gary Jr.'s sisters. And people are hurting them mentally, emotionally, and financially. His wife's afraid to go to work, and he is in the process of starting a business. And I'm sorry, but no one, how does anybody even know that she's related to him? Right? How would anybody even know that unless you come out and tell people? That's what I think happened. That is exactly what I think happened. I think that Gary Siders Jr. is a very sick individual mentally. That is my opinion. I believe that he knew that after she would birth a baby, that she could become pregnant very easily. And what better way to keep control of a child, even though she's not a child now, than to keep her barefoot and pregnant, as they say, right? Ooh, did they set up a GoFundMe, Bomber Cat? Well, I pray for the kids that had to be taken to the hospital. I pray for those children. And I do think that there is a lot of mental illness going on there. There has to be. There has to be. What a beautiful girl she is, though. That is so sad. So this guy's crying about his fucking self. This is my opinion, and I'm going to give my opinion. This freaking guy, he didn't give a fuck about his sister-in-law, Elizabeth, having 20 fucking kids back to back to back. He wasn't worried about that. I not once in this fucking article seen this man saying, those are our nieces and nephews. We are very concerned. We have contacted the hospital. We have contacted law enforcement. We are very concerned with those children. Nope. He's trying to start a business. He's trying to start a business. His wife works for the public, so she can't go out in public. She can't go to work now. It's called, if someone wants to come up to you and say, hey, and her last name's not even Sider. So how do they even know that you all are even related? Ugh. Well, why would they get threatened? I would think someone saying we hadn't had anything to do with my father-in-law for years. We didn't know what was happening in that house. Why isn't that enough? Why wouldn't that be enough? How am I supposed to start a business in this community when I'm being stapled to the face of pure evil? And that's one thing that, if I remember correctly, Elizabeth's attorney spoke about. He's saying, her attorney is saying, she's not the evil monster that everyone is making her out to be, right? I don't know, Bomber Cat. I do not know. Not at all. But he's saying his children are being kept in the house now. They were married in 2008. Junior and Elizabeth were married in March 31st of 2008 at the age of 18 and 15. 18 and 15. They say that the Ohio Vital Statistic documents Junior and Elizabeth have moved around at least 3 times before their arrest last week. In 2008, Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders were living in the same Gallia County trailer park where they both lived separately before getting married. They were then recorded as living in Cheshire area of Gallia County in 2022 and in 2024 off of Honeysuckle Drive. So they both lived in a trailer park. They both lived in a trailer park when they met and got married. Then in 2025, the couple lived at a different home in Hamden, not far from Omer Street. And that's where they were arrested at. For sure. How would you, okay. I wouldn't think living in a trailer with a bunch of kids would be realistic. As far as Elizabeth's marriage into the family at such a young age, Fletcher said she had a difficult home life and escaped into the Sider's family. I think so, Flies. Well, but think about it, Bomba Cat. I mean, really, she leaves home. She goes to the Siders because she's not having a great home life with her own family, with her own parents. So you got a little 13-year-old girl living in the trailer park, right? You got an 18-year-old boy. His parents are cool parents, right? Probably let her come over and hang out, let her stay the night, you know, Junior grooming on her, you know, love bombing her, making her feel like, you know, he was her savior, probably even convincing her that, you know, her family was, you know, not good for her. She ends up becoming pregnant. Now, what do you see happening there? She's a young girl and she's pregnant. So it doesn't sound like that her family were like, look, we know that things haven't been good, but we love you. You're only 13, 14, 15 years old, and you are pregnant with a child. Please come home. Please come home. Let us help you. Let mom help you. That guy is not good for you. He does not have the best intentions for you. Please come home. Let us help you. Let us help you raise your child. Let us help you get an education. Let us help you make something out of your life. Doesn't sound like it went that way. It sounds like, and there's, look, I am not sitting here saying anything bad about her parents, her mommy, whatever. Because it happens more than you know of them saying, there you go. There you go. I told you that boy was up to no good. Now you're here and you're knocked up. You're 15 years old and you're knocked up. So guess what? You're going to marry him. You're going to marry him. I don't care if you get an education. I don't care what happens. Let them take care of you. Let them take care of you. They let you, as a 13, 14, 15-year-old, come into the trailer and lay up with their son. That is their problem now, right? And I kind of wonder also if Gary Jr., I wonder how he really treated his parents. I wonder how he treated his parents. I'm wondering if Elizabeth wasn't, I'm wondering if it wasn't expected of her to take care of all of them, take care of all the kids, everything just put on her. Now, don't get me wrong. Does any of this take away the fact that there were 16 to 20 children that were not being educated, that obviously were not getting the medical treatment that they needed? No, none of that takes away from anything, right? My mama was a piece of shit and a drunk. I was raising my brothers and sisters. I gave birth at 16. Oh, bless your heart, Mama Cat. Well, I had my daughter when I graduated from high school. And then I graduated in June of 82, and I had my daughter in January of 1983. And it was a blessing that I absolutely did get my high school diploma, right? Your son turned 45 on Monday. Well, happy birthday, Bomba Cat's son. Hey, Lady K. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing well. For sure. Are you still covering the Whitakers? Let me tell you guys something, and this is kind of switching things up because, we talked about all kinds of things over here. And this is just my opinion. Freaking Patrick is monetized, which is not a big deal. But I don't understand how they can sit and complain and say shit about people who covered the Whitakers or, are still covering the bull crap between him and Eric. How can anybody bitch about that when that is what he's doing, right? But I don't know. What's up, Tara? I hope the best for Patrick. I really do. He doesn't sound like he's a bad guy. I think it's interesting he plays the banjo. Yes. Sounds like, yes, she was used as a breeder. I think he just thought if he could keep her pregnant that she wouldn't go anywhere. I truly do. It just seems like that Sider Jr. thought if he could keep her pregnant, that she wouldn't go anywhere, that nobody was going to help her. I do. It just, for some reason, it just seems like that is the the way that it was going. I caught Patrick in a lie that was so small. I thought if he was going to lie about him having a cameo on his Facebook, what else is he lying about? But that's where isn't that where it started, the cameo thing on his Facebook? I don't know. I was just kind of shocked. I'm like, damn, it must be nice to start a YouTube channel and, within freaking a week, you're monetized. So, Whitaker family, yeah, to come out in court. For sure. Oh, he was saying that he didn't have, because I heard him say, I don't know what he's doing, but for sure. Well, Mr. A, I am sending good vibes to Morocco. Come on, Morocco, quit playing crappy. Oh, I know, Lady K. I try not to get close to anybody like that. For sure. Well, the sad thing about it is, look, some creators just don't have people's best interest at heart. I mean, for sure, they really don't. But like I said, okay, so they say that Elizabeth was willingly at the Sider home. She didn't have a very good home life. And so when Sider Jr. and her got together, that she ran off to Lynn and Gary Sider Sr.'s home. And back then, their home was nothing like what law enforcement found today. This individual says that it had been about 7 years since he and his wife knew an exact address for the Sider family. But he says that they hadn't heard much from the family except when his mother-in-law would call asking for money to help with bills. All right, that makes no sense to me. Does that make any freaking sense? Yeah, I think so too. I think Patrick did start out with good intentions. But I also know that people are human, and I think that after being told by Eric, and this is my opinion, being told by Eric that Patrick could make enough money to get his house fixed up and And I think the, you know, the almighty dollar sign kind of took over that, right? So this doesn't make any sense, because this guy's saying that that mom-in-law was calling asking for money to help with bills, but they never had an exact address for them. But then he says we might have known the whereabouts, like in a county or in a spot, and says most of the time that they felt that they were not being truthful to them about where they were. So they didn't know what was going on. He said the last time that they had heard from Sider Sr., mother-in-law, Elizabeth, and Junior, they gave them a car, and that had been close to a year ago. Also saying that they were calling to help get money to pay a water bill. He said that they would help him out with money. They kept the relatives at a distance. So basically, it was more of a helped off and on if they needed a little bit of money or whatever. And like I said, some of the children were said to have been and had access to devices, right? That's just a lot of kids, y'all. It is pretty disgusting. So it's just a matter now of the investigation, pulling up all the birth records that they can find. They said years ago the Siders lived a normal life. A normal life. So, like I said, where did it all go wrong? Oh, this is interesting. Listen to this. This guy says, you got people out there saying that Lynn and Gary raised their kids that way. They was not raised that way. He said, I've known this family since grade school. I've been with their daughter for 20 years. Gary and Lynn did not raise their children that way. The 4 daughters that got out are successful members of society. We've raised our children. Our children have college degrees. And for us to be put into this, that there's a generational incest and all that going on, it's just not true. This is all in that one home. Yeah, I never thought that there was any type of incestuous stuff going on, for sure. But yeah, I mean, you never know what's going on until it's too late. So, Senior had had a stroke. He had had a stroke. One child had to be intubated, though. Well, we'll hear more about it, I guess. We definitely will. We will, we will. What do you mean her lawyer said she wasn't a victim? I don't understand. Elizabeth's lawyer said she wasn't an evil monster. What 18-year-old boy? I thought the oldest was a girl. I thought the 18-year-old was a girl. Wow. That's nuts. How crazy is that? For sure. Well, I hope the children don't suffer, right? That's what matters. I mean, these people are all grown adults, right? Oh, all the money, Eric? Yeah. Yeah, Eric's the one who told Patrick to take the GoFundMe down. And I thought that he told Patrick too to take down the Cameo. I could be wrong. For sure. Well, it's all sad. It is all very sad. How did they know that, Bomber Cat? I didn't think, I thought the oldest child, the 18-year-old, was a female. Is what I thought. But they keep saying she doesn't even know how to write her name or something. The oldest Sider child is a female. She's 18 years old. They said she was unable to spell or write her name. Right? But it is very sad, and it is sad that if people are threatening the other family members, you know. Oh, what's wrong, Karen? What is wrong, Karen? But they say that I guess after you have multiple pregnancies, the chance of you having multiples increases. That's wild. That is wild. So absolutely, it's okay, hold on. There definitely are I wonder how many of those births were home births, though, for sure. That's so sad. 18, 16, 15, 14, 13, 11, 10, 8, 6, 5. Set of twins, 4 years old. Set of twins, 3 years old. A set of twins, 1 year old. And they are saying that there are three that are deceased. 3 children that are deceased. Hey, bird. I just read the chart. I showed the chart last time I talked about them. For sure. You do, bird? All right, y'all. I got about 10 minutes. Yeah, the last live I did, I showed all the charts and everything and the children and all that stuff. So you can find it on Facebook. You can also find the chart on Facebook. There's a bunch of channels that have the chart out and how old the children are and all that stuff. So for sure. I don't know who True Crime Beat channel is, but if that's where you go for it, then you go for it, Mama Cat. For sure. But we will, the Javeayah Harris update, how sad is that? How so sad is that? So we'll keep up on that. We'll keep up on a few other things. There's been a couple other things I've been working on, but I'm just not ready to put it out there and talk about it for sure. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. Well, like I said, I'm not sure if we're really going to know a lot of different things. I thought that the judge put a gag order on it, but I could be wrong because I've been looking at 2 or 3 different cases, so I'm kind of getting myself confused about a lot of it. So I will have to Check it out for sure. There is a Carnahan man that's been charged with human sex trafficking. Wow. Yeah. U.S. Marshal Service Central Kentucky Fugitive Task Force, the FBI, Harlan County Sheriff's Office, Harlan Police Department, Everett's Police Department. See, a lot of people, when they heard that there was that many children, of course, you know, everybody's minds went straight to some sort of child trafficking situation. According to the criminal investigation, detectives developed evidence indicating the Carnahan allegedly targeted vulnerable women and engaged in a pattern of criminal conduct involving narcotics, commercial sexual exploitation, human trafficking, sexual assault, unlawful restraint, and physical abuse. Dang. All right, we'll have to talk about that on its own, I guess, but definitely prayers are with the children. Hopefully good things will happen, right? For sure. For sure, for sure. But I appreciate you guys. I've been on here 2 hours. Thank you for hanging out with me. Email me if you would like for me to research something. You know, we can have some conversations about it, right? You know, you never know what we're going to talk about over here. I talk a little bit about everything. Sometimes I don't talk about anything at all. So rest in peace, Bonnie Tyler. Or who is it? I forgot. Sorry, Bonnie. Sorry about that, Bonnie. All right, so be you, do you, go have some fun. And I am not going to tell y'all to behave yourselves. Do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do. Flies, I'm glad you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling better anyway. The mouse sending you prayers, darling. Karen, I hope you're doing okay, sweetie. We are definitely praying for you. We are. All right, but please remember the children. They're the ones who suffered. They're the ones who ended up suffering in the long run. And, you know, I truly believe that if law enforcement would not have been contacted because Gary Siders Jr. was doing inappropriate things in the neighborhood, I'll say, we may have had other children who could have perished because of that, for sure. Sometimes people just need a little bit of help sometimes. So, and there are a lot of people, you guys, who will not, they won't ask for help. They won't ask for help because their mindset is to ask for help could mean that their children get taken away or, or something like that. I'm not going to sit here and talk badly about Elizabeth. That's up for a court of law to determine just to what extent all of the child abuse goes. But I think we have to look at her as a human being also. We have to look at her background. We had to look at her age when, she became entangled with this Gary Sider Jr. And so, craziness. So, all right, people. Oh, they're calling Moto. All right, my ass is getting off here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Peace out. Have a good one. Oh, you do start chemo? Oh, well, I'm praying for you, Karen. Bye, Grumble. I'm praying for you, Karen. I am. All right. Peace out, guys.